Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Nerdify. Oh boy, this week.
Yeah.
We have an episode, just like last week.
We have some good stuff to talk about, people.
Yeah, we do.
This is Reggie.
And this is James. That was a really boring intro.
Well, you know, just some weeks you got it, some weeks you don't.
Kind of a blah day.
Yeah, it is. We actually did a lot today, so.
Oh, yeah. Well, I guess it wasn't blah, just I feel
blah.
Like, I want to take a nap.
Yeah, we should probably have taken a nap before we started recording. But you know what? This is what you guys are going to get, so just deal with it, you know.
Yeah, first off, a really interesting turn of events happened this morning. Last week, we said we weren't going to have any sodas because we ran out. And so we had a photo shoot, baby photo shoot with my daughter this morning. The photo shoot place is right next to Rocket Fizz. And so we're like, we'll do the photo shoot, and then we'll swing by and pick up some sodas for tonight. Rocket Fizz is gone.
Yeah.
Like, last week it was there, and now it is like, hey, this store's coming soon. Not even like a, hey, we moved somewhere.
Yeah, there's no like, hey, we're closing, everything's on clearance sale, nothing. It was just gone. 1 week there, 1 week gone, and something else replacing it.
They're just like, wait, wasn't Rocket Fizz the one here with the purple door? I'm like, yeah. What the hell?
I mean, everything's gone. I mean, the sign and everything. It's not like they just like abandoned shop. Like, literally, it's like as if the store was never there.
They just changed ink cartridges, but like the store is the ink cartridge.
Yeah,
take it out and put another one in.
It's so weird.
Oh my god. So as of now, that was the end of the sodas.
Yeah. Sorry if
we had an interesting run.
If anyone else doesn't get to experience that.
I didn't get to try the pimple pop. I really wish I would have picked that up now.
I mean, there were some pretty funny ones there and all this stuff. I mean, we could technically go through the hassle of ordering them online, but I really don't want to deal with bottles breaking in the mail and all that shit. So
and definitely not doing that.
Yeah, it's a little too much trouble. I mean, hey, if we ever find any weird sodas while we're out and about, we'll totally bring them on and try them out. But otherwise, it's just going to be a no-go there.
Yeah, so what was our highest soda?
Our highest rated soda for me was Balls, the energy drink.
Right.
And for you, it was the Dr. Enough.
Dr. Enough.
At a 7.
I gave Balls
you
a
also
7.
gave Balls a 7, yeah.
So I guess Balls overall was the best.
Yeah, because it averaged an 8, and then Dr. Enough only averaged a 7.5.
Dang.
Wow, that sucks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. We only got to do 12 sodas.
Yeah.
I didn't think
they were going to go anywhere. That was just so bizarre. It was just like overnight.
I mean, I felt like if a place like that was going to make it, it'd be like a place like this is in a college town. You know, there are several little colleges here, and so you think you'd just get a bunch of college students coming in every week and just like buying candy and trying new sodas and stuff. But I guess it wasn't enough. I mean, we kind of talked about this earlier, where we felt like if they really wanted to cement to be here longer, they should have done. I mean, I know Rocket Fizz is mostly just a soda brewery, but I feel like they should have had a little restaurant tied to it and say, you know, you can also get some burgers and some other stuff here too.
It's funny you just said something about this is a college town, so you figure they'd all come in and get new sodas and candy. That's like college from like the 1950s.
Yeah.
And now it's like let's try some new the strongest alcohol and some heroin. Let's just
now it's just like,
to be honest, not heroin.
What? No, I don't want no Martian poop soda, dude. I want to go get me some fucking Everclear. Like that's how college is nowadays.
And some strong cocaine.
Oh, yeah.
I want 3 cracks.
3 cracks,
Give me
please.
3 cracks, Mr. Drug Dealer.
Yes.
I don't know how drug deals work.
So that's the end of the soda thing. That's kind of a little bit of a downer,
sad,
but
it's just the universe trying to keep us on our diet.
Yeah, that's very true.
Yeah, the sodas are really not part of our diet, but we'd already started that.
Yeah, which we had 2 pretty bad meals here. We kind of ate bad, but 3 weeks in on our first little cheat day, that's not too bad, actually. Yeah. Most people would probably cheat after like 3 hours.
Our cheat meal last night, I only ate half of it. The other half is still in the fridge. I don't know when I'm gonna eat it.
I ate a lot. I mean, I'm not supposed to work 6 days a week, but I'm totally gonna do that. Totally gonna go home and work out again because I feel gross and fat now.
I'm fine.
No, I feel gross and fat.
I'm fine.
So, I guess first thing we'll talk about is we went and saw Wish Upon.
Oh, yes, Wish Upon.
Now, not to say that this was a movie that everybody was looking forward to or that it was prolific or... some big summer thing. No, it was literally just a movie that we saw trailers for, and we were like, we're all kind of like horror junkies. We just kind of like horror films.
Yeah. I really like the premise of it. That's the first thing that caught my eye. Was kind of like I knew it was going to be like a monkey's paw type
sort of deal.
Thing, you know?
Yeah, like misconstruing wishes a little bit.
They could really have done a lot with that.
Although, whenever you think about it, and by the way, if you care to see the film, we're probably going to discuss spoilers.
Oh yeah,
because the movie's we're not going to play dumb here. It was bad, not a good movie. I mean, none of us went in with high expectations, but it did worse than I thought it was going to do.
Yeah,
but I think it was a little misconstrued how they presented it in the trailer, because in the trailer, you know, all you really see is the one wish she makes at her very first, which is, I wish so and so would just like go and rot. And then the girl wakes up the next day and literally she has like necrotizing fasciitis and there's like skins being eaten off. And so, you know, like that makes it like, oh, like this is monkey's paw. They're gonna like totally misconstrue shit. But like, no, not really, because the rest of her wishes are pretty straightforward.
They're very literal.
And they don't get misconstrued. And so the mechanism that they use to kind of balance that is kind of dumb and a little bit arbitrary.
The rules that they set weren't really followed in the end.
They're a little unclear.
They were unclear and weren't really explained that well.
So if you don't know what the hell we're talking about, Wish Upon is a little summer horror flick that came out, and it's about this girl that finds this ancient Chinese wish box and ends up wishing for stuff, and then bad stuff, of course, happens, because then it wouldn't be a horror film. And I will say right off the bat, the reason this didn't work is because it tried to be a teen rom-com as well as being a horror film. It really was like a teen rom-com with jump scare elements.
Needs to pick a genre and stick to it.
I mean, there was like, oh god, there are moments in this fucking movie that like just bothered me. Like anytime that things were going good, it just, I mean, like so many like top 40 pop songs in there, and like, and it's just like, this gets way too high to be a horror film, like way too high. And then all of a sudden it had to be like, oh, gotta bring him back down. Ooh, scary something. And I will say all the deaths, they did feel like Final Destination. Very much so. I mean, oh yeah, very much. I'm just thinking back on all of them, and yeah, it's like, I called it, like when it was right before it happened, like, she's gonna fall on that thing and it's gonna, impale her. And sure enough, that's what happened. And I'm like, all right, I mean... Like, the only death that had, like, real tension to me was the lady that got her ponytail sucked down the disposal. Which is, to me, like, the dumbest fucking thing. Because, like, who would even have a ponytail that long and let it just dangle into the sink while the disposal's going? And even on top of that, okay, so let me just set it up for you. Like, basically the way the wishes work is you wish for something, you get 7. You wish for something, and then someone dies. There's a blood price. Yeah, your wish gets granted, and then someone dies, which also was unclear how the box chose. Yeah, it seemed to be, like, I thought it was going to be the further you got into the wishing, the closer the person was to you. But the first one to die was her dog. So that's already pretty close, because that was a dog from her mom who had died. Right. And then the next person was her uncle that they don't talk to and haven't talked to in 10 years. Well, she talks to him every morning, riding by his house, but Dad doesn't like it. So, I mean, I can see where he was so close to her. Yeah, but at the same time, it's just like, it should have started with, like, people she kind of knew and moved in, so that way her last wish, like, so at the end, the whole deal is that it's not like you can just make 7 wishes, 7 people die, and you're like, okay, well, I get everything. If you lose the box, if you try to sell it and whatever, get rid of it, yeah, then all your wishes go away. And so, undone. Yeah, but to counteract that, it's you. At the end of the 7 wishes, the demon that basically gave the box its powers comes for you and steals your soul, so you die essentially. Right. And so the sixth wish, which is the penultimate wish, like that made sense for her basically her dad died. And so I was like, okay, that makes sense. And if you work backwards though, it like stops making sense because it went from like 6 was her dad, 5 was her best friend. Okay, that's making sense. You're getting a little further each time. It's like 4 should have been her dog, and then from there move out. But like, so the first one was her dog, second one was her estranged uncle, the third one was her neighbor across the street.
Well, I mean, they were really close. I could tell by the way they interacted. They talked a lot and everything.
Yeah, it's still a little weird. And then, but then the next one after that was I wouldn't even call them really friends because they were just going to school together. But like her school acquaintance's cousin that she met one time was suddenly picked. Yeah. And I feel like it was just a plot device they used to make, because they went to her to try to translate the Chinese on the box. And so she figured it all out. And so she was trying to get a hold of them, and they just used it as a plot device to stretch out the whole. Right. You know, like, oh, bad shit happens, and but it's.
Now, honestly, I mean, like, she messed up a lot, the main character. Like, because she used. We've already said we're doing spoilers, right?
Oh, yeah, I mean, we've already.
She used her. Okay, so in the beginning of the movie, her mom has already died. She committed suicide, and they're living with the distress from that. So her.
Oh, and they weren't. And the thing about that is they're not even subtle. Like, okay, I guess it's supposed to be dramatic irony, but to me, it's just stupid. Where, at the end of the movie, near the end of the movie, she finds out that her mom had the box before her somehow, and so at the very beginning of the film, you see her mother putting something in the trash, and you don't even. I mean, that's the very first thing you see, and instantly I was just like, "Hey, it's the box." She somehow is going to get back to her daughter.
I didn't even think about that.
Like, I just knew it was the box because of the way it's shaped and everything, and they focused on it way too hard. Like, it should have been a thing in passing. It should have been her mom just, especially because she sat there and stared at it for a long time, and I was like, I don't know, and kind of was like iffy about it, but instead, so she, it should have just been she just kind of tossed it in the trash, like ran outside and was just like, toss it in the trash. Oh, here, let me get you on your bike and let you sit and send you down the road,
It's another failed attempt at trying to establish the hold the box has on the person. Like, first of all, it's the first thing you see, so you don't understand. Like, I didn't realize it was the box. I don't know, but
I've seen enough horror movies.
It's supposed to be sort of like a Gollum in the Ring kind of thing, or really anybody in the Ring of Power. It calls to you, it grips your soul and just brings you in. But they don't do a very good job at establishing it or easing it, because it
literally went from 0 to 100
she
instantly.
She was just like, oh, this box is cool, it's making wishes, to suddenly like, oh, now
I need the box,
crazy.
Nobody else can have it.
There was no subtle ease into that. She just,
I'm not lying when I say literally 5. Like, okay, so there's one point in the film where
she's like threatening people's lives.
She her friend somehow has it, so she takes it from her, and she's just like, I will fucking use a wish on you, and I will hurt you. And I mean, she's like trying to get people away from her, and literally, I'm not kidding, not even 5 minutes before that, she was with another friend trying to destroy the box.
Right.
And they couldn't destroy it. And then you go from that, with her being totally okay with destroying it, to suddenly being like, oh, this is my fucking crack, I need this shit, Like, they could have made it a little more subtle. We had talked about, like, whenever, like, she's on her, I think, 3rd wish whenever they go and meet her cousin.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she just made her 3rd wish.
Yeah. And so, if by then, like, oh, we found out some stuff out about it, it shouldn't have done the drawn out thing. She should have known instantly, like, oh, there's a blood price on this. You don't need to be making wishes on this because it's going to kill people. And so then what they should have done from there is, her friend went and picked up the box first, and then they both left. And what it should have been is that she should have picked up the box. He should have tried to pick up the box, and she snatches that out of her hands like, no, it's okay, I got it. It was very subtle, just like, no, it's fine, I got it. Like, just trying to seem nice. Yeah. And then you just see her progressively having a harder and harder time not making wishes with the box. And then by the time you get to the scene where she's like freaking out about owning the box, then it makes sense. Otherwise, you're just like, suddenly it's just like, if I'm just like pouring out sodas with somebody, be like, yeah, I don't drink sodas here, I'll help you pour these out, I know you're gonna stop drinking these sodas, it's a good thing. And then suddenly, like 10 minutes later, I'm just like, oh my god, give me that soda, I need to drink it. It's just like, where'd this come from? I don't understand, I'm just so I mean, they handled the movie pretty badly. It did not know at all what it wanted to be. No, it was, and there were
garbage. Fairly big like plot holes. Like they took way too much liberty. Like I was saying earlier, her sixth wish, which should have been her last wish, was to bring her mom back to life, or to make it to where her mom never committed suicide. Right. And so at first I thought it was going to be like a monkey's paw thing, like she's going to come through the door all like a zombie and shit, mom's alive but she's dead still, zombie. But that didn't happen. She's alive and well, everything's fine. So I'm like, okay, maybe a little bright side, I guess.
Or just like, okay. Because the box was apparently going to take her mother's soul anyway, so like, she goes back in time and she's back at 8 years old or whatever it was, and then her mom's still alive, but instead of that happening, her dad is also home, and then she's outside riding on her bike and a fire breaks out and kills both of them, then it's worse. Like, yeah, sure, she didn't commit suicide, but something was going to happen to take her mother's soul, right? And that would have been nice, but instead they just like jumped right forward, and of course then her dad dies, so she was essentially like trading evenly. Like, once she gets her mom and a couple of siblings randomly, and then also her dad. And that I hate that they never really talked about it, but I guess it makes sense because everything was happening really fast at the end of the film. But it's just like, she wished her mom to have never committed suicide, and it didn't send her back in time. Her mom was just now alive, right? Right, yeah. And her dad was not being a trash picker anymore, and she suddenly had twin baby sisters that were like at least like 7-8 years old. So how do you deal with that? Like, you make this wish, and all of a sudden you're just like, the past like 10 years are just gone. Right, yeah. Like, everything I knew is gone, and I have these two baby sisters. I don't even know their freaking names.
Nothing. So you gotta sit there and ask your parents all these questions that you should know.
Well, they think that you're gonna know, and then they're just like, what is wrong with you?
So
you end up looking crazy.
Yeah, they're gonna start sending you to like an insane asylum, or get you some kind of therapy or some shit. Yeah, no, it makes no sense. Like, it's I mean, like I said, I'm glad they didn't go into it, because they probably would have made it a terrible little decision, one after another. But yeah, I mean, like, as soon as she hit her fifth wish and she found out everything it did, to me, it's just like, I mean, I know this is kind of the tropes with horror films, is that characters don't think of the most logical things, because that's just what makes a horror movie a horror movie. Yeah. It's the same thing whenever you see horror films and they're just like, okay guys, we should split up, everybody go down this way and everybody go down this way, and then you get that small group, and then those two split up, and it's just like, haven't you guys ever seen a horror film? Don't you know when people split up you die? But it's just because you have to assume that those movies take place in a universe where horror films don't exist, which is crazy to think about.
Yeah, but no, so, I know it's a little bit of a horror film trope to make characters not think of the most logical thing, but she hit her fifth wish, and my first thought was like, as soon as she knew what was happening, I would have been like, I wish this box never existed, or I wish Madame Gao, I think that was the name of maybe I'm wrong, maybe Madame Gao's from like Daredevil or something. Anyway, I know you're talking about old ancient Chinese lady who originally owned the box, just been like, I wish she had never found this box. Or, even if you can't wish the box out of existence, just say, I wish she had never found the box. Or even the U.S. soldier who had found it after she died, say, I wish he never found it. And then it may have ended up back in the United States at some point, but may not have been here in her possession.
Odds are, if you'd have changed something in the past
about the box, then you could have fixed everything.
I wish the box was blue instead of red. I don't know, just some stupid shit.
So instead, what she does is she makes her sixth wish
bring her mom back.
Her dad died. Yeah. And then, so what does she do? She goes right back upstairs and goes to her box and goes, I wish I could go back to the day my dad found you. Because she's going to go with her dad trash picking and make sure he doesn't find it. And then,
which is stupid.
Yeah, but she's already used her 7 withs, so she thinks that's going to save her. It's not. Yeah, it's already gone. Yeah, so.
It's coming for you, so.
So, need to say, when she died at the end of the film, it wasn't surprising.
No,
I would have actually been surprised if it would have ended just her, like, walking away from her friend and being like, all right, everything's cool.
One way they also messed up is, I think... is that once her friend stole the box to save her from the box, even though she didn't make a wish, her friend didn't make a wish to, claim it, the original girl should have had all of her wishes undone at that point because she no longer possessed the box. Like,
yeah, that was supposed to be the deal, was that if you lose possession of the box, then all your wishes are undone. I understand what
you guys were talking about, like, oh, well, she didn't make a wish, so her contract hadn't started, but still, if... Like, it would have counted if let's say some of these happen in reverse. They get the old man's shit at
his mansion
the
and
end,
stuff.
His mansion at the end, and they just left the box in the old house so no one would ever see it again. That would have breached the contract. I'm sure of it. Like, because she technically got rid of it. Because otherwise, her mom's.
So yeah, see, that's something that the box never completely delves into, and I think if you approach the movie differently, you would have kind of had to set up the rules a little more clear. Because technically you could make all your wishes. I mean, you've probably killed 5 or 6 people that you love, but if you somehow could deal with that because you're a terrible human being, then maybe more or less if you just didn't know. You just made your wishes, and then you're just like, you kind of figured out, like, towards the end, like, oh, fuck this, I think this box is, like, killing people, and it's my fault, like, whatever. Then you just say, okay, I'm gonna go rent a storage unit, and I'm gonna go place it in the storage unit, and I know where it is. It's always gonna be there, or even in, like, a big safety deposit box or something. You go, I know where it is, so you haven't lost it. You haven't lost possession of it because that safety box belongs to you. And then... it's not lost. You haven't misplaced it. Nothing. Like, I would think that would count as.
I can see that.
But
that would also count on the box understanding what modern possession is. Yeah,
it's very true. And so I think if they went that route, then definitely they would have had to write in something to where, they did that, and then wishes started getting undone or something, and then they would have realized, like, oh shit, like.
And also,
but then again, you could have gotten your 6 wishes and then drew into the middle of the ocean on a boat and just dumped it in the sea, and then just have never wished your 7th wish. And even and you get to live some stuff for a while, but then eventually it all goes away. But hey, even if it is, like. And one thing that they don't really go into is they say your wishes get undone, but no wishes got undone. They just... because she undid them herself by the end of it, right? So, like, we don't really know what that is. No, we saw the one whenever her house got repossessed.
Her dad went back to... because her dad became normal. She wished for her dad not to be so weird. So he became like a normal guy.
No,
but then he went back to picking.
She did. Her contract did get broken, right? Because whenever her friend still... her and her soon-to-be boyfriend or his boyfriend or whatever go back to her room, and it was gone. And then she was like, what? And then didn't they go... like, they heard the doorbell ring and they went back.
No,
and
that was later.
When was that?
Because they were like, oh my god, where is it? And then I think it cut to school, didn't it? Because they immediately went to her friend and she saw it in her locker.
No, well, because then she had it right there after, and that was like she had her 6th and 7th wish left, and her 6th was to bring her mom back. But I'm pretty sure, because she wished her, she wished her 6th wish in the
in her old room.
In her old room. Yeah.
Oh my god. Okay.
So
I was right.
Yeah, it was pretty instant.
And I was in the movie. I didn't even realize.
Yeah, I know that movie was so bad.
That's how horribly they explained everything and
how bad everything was. Just like it was just a mishmash of stuff. But yeah, so essentially she like pretty much instantly lost it, and like immediately the cops were at the door and were just like, your uncle didn't pay any back taxes for like 10 years, so we've got to repossess all of his money and stuff. And so they lost that, and then she went to school, and the boy she wished to like her didn't like her anymore, and nobody thought she was popular anymore. What else did she wish for? her friend, even though she rotted, she still had scars on her face.
Oh, that wasn't her friend.
Well, I mean, her enemy.
Yeah, she was getting better and a terminally ill disease.
Right.
I don't know.
And then her second one, so the first one was that
she rots.
Second one was getting her uncle's stuff, right?
Yeah.
And the third one was... No, because the second one killed her uncle, and then she wished that she would get all of his stuff. So I guess the second one was...
Well, who the first one killed her dog, that's right. And then the second one, her uncle. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so the second one was, I think, getting the boy to like her, right? And then the third one was getting her uncle's stuff. The fourth one was wishing she was super popular. Fifth... No.
Was not her dad not to be weird. No, dad not weird and then popular.
Super popular, yeah. So her dad wasn't embarrassing. Yeah, this movie's like all over the place and convoluted and dumb.
Honestly, I mean, some of the wishes I could see a teenager wishing for, but some of them... Yeah. Like, I don't think... me personally, I wouldn't have wasted a wish on my dad not being so embarrassing. I mean...
Yeah, and then on top of that, like, the bad thing is, like... I don't know, like, they even, like, you know, even her friends were just like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Why are you being so selfish? If you had this power, you know, if you could kill one person to bring world peace and then kill one other person to cure world hunger, you know, you could, like... I mean, it to me, it's just like, okay, you do one wish and you know what's wrong with it, right? Then you just... I mean, this is kind of fucked up. But you go find someone who's, like, ready to die, like, got a terminal illness, right? Yeah. Or suicidal or something. And you go, hey, here's this box. Here's what it does. You're going to die anyway, right? Like, you've got brain cancer. You've only got a month to live, right? Okay, so here's what's going to happen. You're going to wish these 7 wishes. You're going to wish for world peace. You're going to wish to cure world hunger, cure cancer, cure AIDS, you know, water shortages, and, you know, fix, like, economies and all that kind of stuff. And you're going to wish for all these 7 things, and then you're going to die anyway. So this is just going to kill you, and then boom, because it didn't say that whenever you wished your 7th wish, that those wishes are now just undone.
No, yeah.
Because then that just wouldn't
as long as you complete your contract, the wishes remain.
Right.
But how do you transfer the box to that person without having all your wishes undone?
Well... You do 1, 2, maybe 3 wishes. You find out what it does, and then you give it to that other person. You just say, you know what? It's fine. I'll live without these wishes. It's fine, even though it's killed some people. Because think about it. If she would have stopped at her, like, 3rd, even 4th wish, let's see, it killed her dog, her estranged uncle, a neighbor, and a stranger, essentially. Yeah. So, at 4, she could have totally has just been like, the only real person I lost was my dog. That's it, yeah. And I mean, as it's to say, dogs are replaceable. You know, it was an uncle that her family never spoke to, and then
a fairly old neighbor.
Yeah, like, a fairly old neighbor, like in her 50s or 60s, and that she probably just talked to every couple of weeks or something. Yeah. Just someone that felt like they needed to be a motherly type figure because she lost her mom.
Oh, exactly, yeah.
You know, and so it's just like, there's so many little things. I don't know. I mean, we're trying to fix a clearly very, very bad movie.
Okay, so... The one chance they had to fix... I mean, it would have been predictable, but it would have been a better ending. So, she goes back to the day that they found the box. And, okay, so the first time she got the box, her dad found it alone with his picker partner. And, he wanted to give the box to her daughter as a gift because it was pretty, and he wanted her to have something nice because I have a bunch of junk in their house. And so first she was like, "No, I don't want it," and he was like, "Oh, well, if you don't want it, I'll just give it to Carl." Now, when she went back in time, it would have been much more interesting if
instead of
she
going
thought
to the
about
point that she woke up that morning, it would have been better. I know where you're going. That instead she gets right to the moment before she walks into the house or walks up to the house. And it's like, hey...
You know what, Carl? You can have it.
Yeah.
And then she doesn't think anything about it, thinking, oh, I've gotten rid of the box.
Yeah, saying, I don't want it, I don't want it.
Then all of a sudden you think, oh, wait, Carl has it. he's going to make wishes. My dad's going to die because he's close to his dad, and it seems to try to kill people you're close to.
Right, yeah. So that I agree. That would have been kind of interesting to end the movie there where,
Boom.
you know,
Wish
Carl takes it. He's like, sure, I'll take it. And he happens to wish for something, just be like, man, I wish my back felt better. Like, you just start complaining about something, right? Like,
better.
My back hurts. I wish my back felt better. Well, happen to be, you know, he plays it down, happens to have his hand on the box. And then, you know, like, let's say the lead character, I can't even remember her fucking name.
I don't know.
And her dad are sitting in the living room or walking down the street or something, you know, or they're driving down the road, and then they're just kind of talking, and she thinks everything's good, and then a freak accident happens and kills her dad, and then she, like, you know, kind of freaks out, but then she, like, realizes what's happening, because I would think it'd be better, because of course she wouldn't realize if it was just, like, a car accident, but if it was, like, a super freak accident, right? Like, someone came barreling down the road, smashed into their tree in the front yard, and the tree fell and happened to, like, kill her dad, then it would just be, like her to just be, like Final Destination type shit, and she was just like, oh, and she realizes what's happening,
Boom,
and then you,
credits.
yeah, that would have been really good, because then it's just like no matter what she did, someone closer was gonna die.
Like, that wouldn't have solved all the problems, and it still would have been a
better ending.
Yeah, it would have been a better ending. Like,
but it wouldn't save the movie.
No,
Hell
no.
Hell no.
I'm just saying that it would have solved the ending problem perfectly, and I might have been willing to give number 2, because I would have lived perfectly into number 2. I might have been willing to give number 2 a chance upon a different director.
Yeah, I mean, it was pretty bad. So I mean, you know, we go into like horror films like knowing sometimes they're gonna be bad, but we're hoping it'll at least be entertaining.
Right,
you know.
like that one, the birthday movie coming up. That seems like an interesting, like a
Happy Birthday or Death
it's like
Day
a
or whatever.
horror Groundhog Day situation, and it seems like they could do a lot with that.
Yeah, it seems like if it's self-aware and fun and cheeky and messes with itself, then. Yeah, it may not be a great movie.
No, it still seems cheesy.
But it'll be fun to watch.
Right.
You know, just like The Butterfly Effect. The Butterfly Effect is not a good movie, but it's fun as hell to watch.
Yeah.
You know?
Time travel is really interesting.
There are a lot of movies like that we're just like, this is not a good movie, but I enjoy watching it. It's just a fun, entertaining movie.
Right.
You know? Like, because
takes you on a nice ride.
That's what movies are supposed to be. They're supposed to be entertainment. And, you know, it's nice that we get really high-end, nice movies out of this. But we also, sometimes we don't get those. But the movie's like, I know it's a shit movie, but man, is it fun to watch. You know? It's just, there's a lot of, like, rom-coms that people enjoy that way. Or just, you know, some dramas or something, or you know, but really horror films can do it well because if they're really cheeky with themselves, they work out really well. Like, I mean, I wouldn't say Cabin in the Woods because it's a great movie, but it's really subversive. It changes the way it perceives itself as a film, you know, and kind of like changes your perception of it, and so that's what makes it so fun to watch. Because even if it was bad, it would still be a great time just like to sit down once a year. You know, like Krampus. You know, looking at Krampus, it's not a great movie. Yeah.
I didn't see it.
It's
I
not,
wanted to.
It's not like something where you're just like, oh my god, this movie was like nearly Oscar worthy, or you know, it's like it's an alright movie, but man, is it fun as hell to watch. Oh, it was so fun. So it's definitely something that I could sit down every Christmas with my friends and go like, let's just watch Krampus. Like that's just fun, you know.
I'm totally down for that, by the way. We should totally do that.
It's fun as hell. So yeah, I mean, Wish Upon, terrible movie, not even entertaining.
Yeah, don't bother.
Like a 3 out of 10, and then like
just wait for the actual Monkey Paw movie to come out. It's bound to be better.
Yeah, isn't there already a Monkey Paw movie?
There probably is.
Yeah, like a B movie or something.
Probably. I want Hollywood, you know,
right
version.
Speaking of Hollywood and some movies, Comic Conway just happened.
Comic Conway?
Comic Con. Sorry.
Comic-Con,
so we have like a local convention that like played on the Comic Con thing, and it's called Comic Conway.
It rolls off the tongue.
Yeah, it worked like really well because the Taunton is Conway. So yeah, I keep calling it that, but no, Comic Con. I don't know. So yeah, Comic Con just happened, and there were a lot of good trailers and shit released for upcoming movies. We got a new Thor Ragnarok trailer, which I was already kind of interested in this one because, like, you know, I didn't
even know it was happening.
Just because the first trailer looked really fun, but
I missed the first trailer. I only saw the one here at
this one made it even better. Like, I think it just has to do with the vibe, and it's probably just the trailer. I mean, it seems like a lot more upbeat than the lower one. Or the first two ones, because the first two just kind of seemed weird, and the second one seemed a lot darker. But then this one it's a lot more light and fun, so that's why I'm interested in it. Plus, they threw in the '80s vibe, and I love that. But yeah,
I don't know how I feel about Thor and Hulk's haircuts. I'm used to. The long flowing locks of Thor.
I do like his new haircut. Do you like Thor's new haircut? Hulk's is just
didn't make sense for Hulk. Why would he care? Well, yeah. I guess maybe when they got on the planet, they made him. I don't know how you make Hulk do anything, but maybe they gave him a haircut. I don't know.
Yeah.
And I really hope they explain how he suddenly can fluently talk. Like,
well, I think I read something, I heard something about a director or something getting interviewed, and they explained. Maybe it was even Kevin Feige, but I think they explained that he's been on that planet for like 2 years since the end of Ultron.
Really?
Yeah, something like that. That's maybe.
Cool. Okay.
And so he's been on the planet a while, and he stayed in Hulk form pretty much the entire time.
Probably to protect himself.
Yeah, and
so like the whole planet's like a gladiator situation, right?
Yeah, and so
that makes sense then why he would do that.
Yeah, and so he pretty much took over, and that's why in the trailer, like at one point, like Mark Ruffalo shows up, and he's just like, I don't know what's been going on, like where am I, kind of deal. But anyway, so since he's been doing that for so long, he's learned to speak a lot better.
That makes sense.
Yeah, so
I like that then.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
And plus, it's nice because everyone knows like Hulk can kind of talk. Mm-hmm. And so, because it would kind of suck to have this like kind of, which I think there's another reason why I love it. It's got this buddy cop feel to it.
Oh yeah.
And so that's kind of nice. But it kind of sucks to just have like this buddy cop thing where he only like talks in like single to 2 word phrases.
Work. I mean,
yeah, it'd be pretty bad.
There's only so much that action can do for the two characters together. They really need conversation.
Yeah, because otherwise, if you just have him doing one type things like someone overinterpreting, people will start thinking this feels like a Groot situation, and then you're just like, okay, this is just Galaxy of the Guardians of the Galaxy. Jesus, I cannot talk today, kind of situation. So
they've already pretty much played out the comedy action thing in Avengers when Hulk confronted Loki. Mm-hmm. And you can't do anything, and then puny mortal. That kind. I mean,
puny god is what they call him.
Was puny god. That's right.
Yeah.
That was really the height of comedy action as far as what Hulk could do right there without being able to talk. Really.
Yeah.
So, but they don't want to keep doing that. It would get old.
And I like how they clearly fit in the Planet Hulk storyline, but they were just like, how are we going to do this? This clearly needs to happen. And then they were just like, we'll just do it in the Thor film.
Is Beta Ray Bill going to be in this movie?
There's been hints about Beta Ray Bill showing up.
I don't really know a whole lot of Beta Ray Bill, but I like the way he looks, and I like saying his name. Beta Ray Bill is really cool to say.
Yeah, but I saw something, and apparently there's like little hints here and there, but I don't know. We'll have to see.
Indeed.
But I think it has to do with like some weapon or some planet or something being mentioned, and it's associated with Beta Ray Bill. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. Maybe we'll see him.
That's cool.
But
okay.
For me, it's just like tone it down on the character introduction, because we're about to hit Avengers and Avengers 2, and I don't want to follow 50,000 characters.
No.
I mean, they're already going to have a hell of a time with Avengers Part 1. I mean, to me, it seems like they definitely need to
Avengers Part 1?
Yeah. I mean, the Infinity War Part 1.
Okay. Yeah, because Avengers is already out in the full. There's no parts.
No, the Infinity War Part 1, they're already going to have like a shit ton of characters. Mm-hmm. And, the thing about it is like, to me, I'm just like, this movie's got to be 3 hours. Like, otherwise I feel like some characters are going to get like 5 minutes of screen time. Or you're going to have everything so dissected that nothing feels like it gets done,
Oh, yeah. You gotta have enough. They have to be close enough to have a cohesive story. I mean, because so many characters, there's no way they can fit on the screen at the same time and it be logical. Other than the final, we're all fighting the same enemy. Let's all, and they're still jumping around, but there's still just too much.
Yeah, and I mean, even if you think about in the Avengers, the first one, Black Widow and Hawkeye.
They didn't get a lot of screen time.
They did not get a lot of screen time. But I mean, of course, then you went to Ultron, and then Hawkeye got a lot of characterization.
Oh yeah,
and
a lot of backstory stuff.
Black Widow got some more. She got even more in Civil War and everything. So they've kind of split her stuff out and about, throughout the few films. But they even with just what is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 Avengers, right?
Yeah.
That you're trying to split this up between, and you had to pretty much give almost no screen time to 2 of the characters. Imagine having 15 characters you're trying to fit into a film.
Yeah, someone's gonna lose a lot of screen time.
Yeah, and my guess is it'll probably be the main Avengers who have their own trilogy of solo films by that point. Yeah. So we'll probably see a lot of Doctor Strange, and we'll probably see a lot of the Guardians and a lot of.
I really dug the Doctor Strange movie. It was.
Oh yeah.
Oh my god, mind bending stuff. Yeah. It's just really cool.
Yeah, I mean we'll see a lot of cool stuff here and there. I'm trying to remember. They showed a poster at Comi Con specifically for because they showed footage for Infinity War, but it was a teaser film,
right?
But it wasn't released to the general public. It was for people who are only in that session.
Bastards.
Yeah, I know, right? But they released a triptych poster for the Infinity War, and it shows pretty much all the characters who are supposed to be in there, and of course you've got Thanos,
right? Yeah,
right in the middle,
of course,
because he's supposed to be the big bad. He's the one that we've been teasing for 10 years now. But okay, so let's see. I'm looking at the poster now. So they've got the Guardians. Makes sense. Surprisingly, hold on. Is she another? Okay, yeah, she is. Okay, so you've got the Guardians with Thor and Loki. And then you've also got the Vision and Scarlet Witch. And then you have, I can never remember his name. That guy. Do you know his name? He's a friend of Captain America, right?
Yeah, something Hawk? I don't know. God, why can't I remember
Black
his
Hawk?
name?
I don't know. It's the black guy that's Captain America's friend that wears a little jetpacky thing. But yeah, so you got him with Cap at the bottom and Black Widow, and then on the right,
it's Hawkman. That's his name.
Hawkman.
His superhero name's Hawkman. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I had no idea. And on the right, you have Doctor Strange and a couple of the other Guardians that weren't on the left side. Spider-Man, Iron Man, the Winter Soldier, War Machine, and the Hulk. So that's what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. I don't think I mentioned Hawkeye, but 20 characters you're trying to shove into one film. Okay, so here's my guess is the people who will get a little bit more screen time is some of the Guardians, because they're very popular, and I just think that they're going to get a little bit more screen time. Maybe some of Cap, because we haven't seen him in a while, since the end of the Civil War. Vision and Scarlet Witch, I think definitely, because they haven't gotten a lot of screen time either. Hulk, I think, will be left a little in the back because would have just been in Thor Ragnarok.
Right.
Doctor Strange.
Depending on what happens at the end of that.
Right. Doctor Strange, maybe Spider-Man. And
they got to give Spider-Man
Winter Soldier.
Because I mean, they went through all the trouble of getting the rights for Spider-Man from Sony to put him in the Marvel movies for this. So they spent all that money. I doubt they're not going to give him screen time unless Sony had something in their contract. You get one movie, one standalone movie. That's it. I mean, that would be stupid.
Yeah, I don't know. So we'll see. I mean, it's going to be tough. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. I'd be very disappointed, but I wouldn't be surprised if this is the first Marvel film that I look at and I'm just like, that was a little disappointing.
Yeah.
Because I mean, so like we said, Avengers had a hard time balancing all the characters. 2 of them kind of got shoved to the back, and then of course, I mean, luckily there's only one villain. So anytime a movie's tried to do more than one villain, it's been bad.
Yeah, they don't pull a Spider-Man.
Yeah, so
any of them.
So I'm a little worried about it, but we'll have to wait and see. I mean, I'm hopeful for it because I really have a lot of faith in Kevin Feige. He seems to know what he's doing.
Well, I have faith in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So, I mean,
right.
They really haven't done a whole lot that was bad.
Yeah.
I can't think of any. I mean, they were just terrible. I mean, besides...
Are you talking about just the Marvel films in general?
Yeah. Well, some of the Iron Man movies.
Yeah, like Iron Man 2 was not great.
I didn't see the
I didn't really like Cap 1. I didn't really have interest in Thor 1. Thor 2 looked
Thor.
good.
I like the first Thor. I never saw the second Thor, Dark something.
The Dark World. Mm-hmm. And then Ant-Man. A lot of people didn't really enjoy.
I didn't see. I want to.
It.
I want to see it.
I like Paul Rudd a lot, so. But yeah, they've been hitting like on all cylinders. I mean, technically, I guess you can consider the Incredible Hulk if you really wanted to.
He has such a weird cinematic past.
Yeah, I think if Edward Norton hadn't left his role as the Hulk, I think he would have had another film.
Right.
Definitely in Phase 2. I really think Phase 2 or even Phase 2, they probably could have like somehow started setting up Planet Hulk.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and then maybe he just wasn't in Ultron or something. And then in Phase 3, you have the actual Planet Hulk film, and it kind of syncs up with Thor Ragnarok, or even you make Thor Ragnarok something about something. I don't know. But, you know, you could have done something. He probably would have had one more, but because they had that change, I think they were just like, we'll just let it be. He'll just kind of be there.
Yeah.
But yeah, so... you know, we'll have to see. It'll be like, what, another year or two before it comes out?
I think so.
I don't remember if it's 2018 or 2019.
I don't remember the year, but yeah.
But, yeah, so I guess we should move on to some other things. I didn't know this. I just found this out a little bit ago, but apparently they're making another Saw movie. Surprise, surprise.
Yeah, I saw the trailer for that. Haven't been in.
And it's not called Saw 8. It's called
Jigsaw.
Jigsaw,
which is, I guess, maybe like a reboot.
Well, we don't really know. Like the trailer doesn't really explain a lot, and so you know, the trailer kind of alludes like as if it's already that world, like Jigsaw's already existed, or if this is like a soft reboot. Where it's like years and years later and someone's using the same kind of style as him. Like, I don't know, because I mean in the trailer they showed like a room where you see a lot of the old contraptions from the first few
bringing
films.
them back. Yeah,
and so
it's connected obviously
somehow.
I think it's a soft reboot.
Yeah.
I really do think that.
Yeah, I think so too. I think it'll be somebody else taking up his mantle, some psycho
using his blueprints, that kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean I'm iffy about it because I've seen 1, I've seen 2, and I've seen 3. And I thought it should have ended at 3 because he died in the 3rd one. And so it would have made sense. And instead they kept dragging the shit out. And I know in the 4th one it ended up being his apprentice that was kind of teased at in the 2nd and 3rd film. And that she was continuing things, but I think then she died. And so I don't know about 5 and 6 and 7. I don't know. I mean, I stopped watching them. So
I watched the first one all the way through. Saw is not my cup of tea for horror. I'm not really into the whole torture, blood fest.
It's not like torture porn exactly, because it's more something along the lines of like Hostel. But
the imagery itself kind of messes with me.
Yeah,
like, I mean, keys behind eyeballs, ripping jaws off.
Yeah, it was
there was like
crazy.
I think it was the first part of like I think it was number 5. I watched the first scene and they had to like cut off a certain amount of body parts and put them in a scale because the other person in the other cage is doing the same thing, and whoever gets to the first amount of weight and the thing gets out and the person dies. It just saw a guy just cutting off a chunk of his stomach, and I'm just like, oh my, I just can't deal with like blood and this thought of what was going on was just making me queasy. I'm more into like the
I think it worked its way a lot more into that category. I think at the beginning it was very, very, very soft, like torture porn type stuff, and then it just worked its way into harder and harder stuff to try to get more thrills and everything, and of course it didn't really succeed. Yeah, so I don't know. I feel like the Saw movie should have just stopped a long time ago. I'm semi-interested because I really like the first 3, but it'll be a Netflix watch.
I'm gonna skip it. It's not my cup of tea as far as horror goes.
It just seems like they could have been putting their time and energy into a lot of other things.
Yeah, I feel like even if I was into it, I would have been tired of Saw by now. I would have been so over it.
Yeah.
Probably by 3, just like you said, because it probably gave it a really...
it doesn't have staying power, just like with Final Destination. Didn't really have staying power. Like, how many Final Destinations did they make? Because they made 1, 2, and 3, and then they made, I think 4 was just called The Final Destination, and then 5 was The Final. The Final Destination. Because I had the 5 in there first, I think the F or something. I don't think they made a Final Destination 6.
They probably did. You probably didn't know about it.
But yeah, I mean, it's straight to like DVD. They didn't even put that shit on Blu-ray. They were
straight to VHS.
Straight to VHS.
They went back in time to release it.
I'm embarrassed about that shit. I didn't want anybody to know it came out. No, so we'll see about it. But I know another thing that I'm a little excited for.
Yeah.
Because I'm a sucker for Del Toro. And
I know what I'm talking about. Oh, I forgot about this. I keep forgetting about this.
And I'm also a sucker for, like, kaiju. And I'm also a sucker for just, like, big robot-y action. Mm-hmm. Pacific Rim Uprising. We got a new trailer for that.
Wait, Del Toro was involved with that?
Yeah, he made the first one, didn't he?
I don't think so.
Didn't he?
Did he?
Did he?
I thought you were talking about the Shape of Water.
No, I haven't seen the trailer for that, but I mean, anything with Del Toro's name on it, I'm instantly in.
It's weirdly interesting. Like, I'm like an excited bored when I'm watching that, because like I feel like there should be something exciting going on there, and it's just interesting to watch. I can't explain, like, it shouldn't be that interesting. Like, I look at it and I think I should be bored with what's going on because nothing's happening, but I'm just intrigued. Did he really?
Yeah, Del Toro directed it. And I don't know if he's
I didn't think about
doing this second one.
Well, I should hope so. The first one was pretty good.
Yeah. And this one has John Boyega in it. Is that his name, right? The Finn from Star Wars?
Oh, really?
Yeah, it has him in it.
Is Charlie Day going to be in this one again? Because I love watching that man work. He is a fantastic actor.
Oh, Scott Eastwood's going to be in it.
Who's that? Give me an example.
Clint Eastwood's son.
Oh, really? I didn't know he had a son.
Yeah. So Scott Eastwood, I don't know what else he's been in, but apparently he's going to be in it. John Boyega, Rinko Kikuchi, which I think was like one of the main characters. Charlie Day is going to be in it.
Yes. Okay, I'm in.
So, yeah.
I'm in.
Oh, no, fuck John Boyega and Del Toro, but we definitely want to see that Charlie Day. No, Charlie Day is hilarious. He is a fantastic and funny man. I'm just trying to find out. Tell me the director. I would like to know. Stephen S. DeKnight.
Don't know that name.
Me neither. I'm about to find out some other shit that he's done. Oh, is that him? Jesus, he is tatted as fuck.
Probably directed a few episodes of...
He has tribal tattoos as a sleeve. Like
did he
tribal tattoo
Did he direct a couple episodes of Sesame Street?
Yeah, just some educational stuff. He did Spartacus, Gods of the Arena.
Wait, was that...
He did
that was a series, right?
Well, he took part in some Spartacus stuff.
Okay. I like Spartacus. That was good.
And Showrunners.
Don't know that one.
Me neither. Looks like he hasn't done much of anything.
Well, I mean, if he can pull off what he did with Spartacus, that'd be decent.
Yeah, maybe. But, yeah, I'm just excited for it because I just love that big robot-y action fight and shit. Like, that just looks good. And I really hope... Was it this movie that they said they were thinking about doing this versus Godzilla?
I think that was some fan stuff.
No, it was King Kong versus Godzilla that they were thinking of doing.
They're doing that.
Are they doing that?
That's in the works right now.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Most definitely.
Surprisingly, I never went and saw Kong Skull Island.
I watched it at home here on the Kodi Totally Legal Fire Stick.
Yeah.
Not anything shady there.
Yeah.
But I watched it there. I wanted to see it in theaters, but it just wasn't working out with the schedule or funds or anything like that.
Or the child.
Yeah. So, but that's part of the scheduling.
Yeah. I don't even know anybody who really went and saw it, but I mean, I've heard like things about it.
It was all right. The action was really cool. I always like to see all the kaiju stuff going on. I'm a big like you. I'm a big kaiju fan.
But there wasn't really Godzilla movie.
I mean, there wasn't really a whole lot that stood out about the movie. I really think their plan going into this was, hey, we want to do Godzilla versus King Kong, so we have to give Kong his own movie now because Peter Jackson's King Kong isn't going to stand up.
And wasn't he huge?
I really don't think he's. If I'm thinking right, I think he's pretty short compared to Godzilla, like the legendary Godzilla. If I'm trying to think of like. Because
that's the thing, like the Godzilla that was just in the last American film, he was massive, huge.
Well, it's hard to compare like cinematically because they were in completely different places. Like Godzilla was I can compare him to buildings. As a Kong, I can only compare to like the mountains and shit around him. And mountains, they don't have a uniform height. Like I don't know how tall mountains on Skull Island are.
And the humans never got insanely close to Godzilla, and so you never really could like get a good scale of them compared to Godzilla. You might be able to eke some things from footprints or anything else, but
if I think of the size of humans compared to the buildings that Godzilla was next to, and then comparing that to sort of what they were to King Kong, I really feel like he wasn't. He might have been up to like his arms or something. Zilla's arms. But I really feel like he's shorter. I mean, they could change that because, like you said, they don't really define the height too well for Kong. Or I mean, they have a height for Godzilla. Like online, you can find that. But I really don't think that they.
Yeah, because Kong's size has kind of changed throughout the years and stuff. So I don't know.
Though. I mean, there's been several Godzillas. So
yeah, because at one point, like Godzilla was not big at all. Like his first few films, he wasn't that big.
He was like 50 meters.
Yeah.
I think it was the shortest he's been is like 40 something meters, and he's been up to like 200 or 300.
Yeah,
but I could be totally wrong on that.
Yeah, so I'm excited about that. But anyway, with Pacific Rim, it's just, it's dope. It's so cool. Like, I just love that whole thing. I know it had its problems. It wasn't the best movie in the world, but it's just so much fun, and I love the sci-fi element. So I'm really looking forward to seeing that one.
Yeah, I'm totally down. I saw Pacific Rim late. I think I saw it. I borrowed a Blu-ray from somebody. I don't know why I didn't see it in theaters. It interests me. It's in the kaiju world, modern day. Charlie Day, like I said earlier, I'll watch anything with him in it. He's amazing. But it was good. I watched it. It was good. So I'm totally down for the second one.
It's probably the closest we'll get to a live-action like Gundam movie or something.
Yeah.
I love Gundam series. But anyway, okay. So I want to talk about something also that came out of left field. Was not expecting it, and it's a huge gamble for Netflix, but it could be good.
Go for it.
Has Will Smith in it, and it's about orcs and elves and gangs and racism and shit. But in that world, it's called Bright. It's
like Lord of the Rings meets Brooklyn.
Yeah, it's like you take Bad Boys and you mix it with Lord of the Rings or something.
Yeah, it's crazy. It really looked interesting. For some reason, I did not expect Will Smith to take a Netflix role. Netflix is a big deal now. Hulu, they all have their...
Oh, yeah, like 5-6 years ago, you'd be like, a Netflix movie, what the fuck? But now you're just like, no, Netflix has made so much stuff. Yeah,
it hasn't sunk in, like, how big they are, the quality of shit they make.
Yeah.
So even now
just
that
look at their whole Defender series, aside from Iron Fist, they're all really good,
I haven't watched Iron Fist.
I love the first and second season of Daredevil. It's so fucking
I gotta catch
good.
up on that. I've seen the first couple episodes, and they were really, really awesome, actually.
Doing Daredevil period was like a big... again, another gamble for them because what did we have before that? We had good old Affleck, and God, that movie
and a role he didn't like.
Yeah, that was a bad film. A film's bad whenever the actor just hated the role.
Oh yeah,
because they wouldn't have taken it otherwise if they didn't like it. But it's just. So, but they completely reshifted. I would think everyone's thoughts on Daredevil, and of course Jessica Jones was great.
I
haven't finished Luke Cage.
I haven't seen any of it.
I've seen the first couple of episodes, and it's pretty good. I like the character a lot in Jessica Jones, so I imagine the whole series is good. But
Defender looks fun.
Yeah, Defender's
the trailer we saw made it look really like a really fun time.
Oh yeah. Their chemistry just looks super good. Like Avengers level type chemistry.
Smaller.
Yeah, but a lot smaller.
Yeah,
so it's nice.
compact.
It's nice to have stuff like that on the small screen. That's not fucking Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. or anything.
Right. Yeah.
I haven't really seen Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., but I've seen like bits and pieces, and to me, it just seems like another serialized cop drama, but with some superpowers.
The closest we get is the workout, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. workout.
Yeah. So,
that's it.
So somehow we went from that to Defenders, but Bright,
yeah, back to Bright.
Bright is it just, I don't know, it's David Ayer is doing it, which the last thing he did was Suicide Squad.
Oh yeah, I read about that.
I don't know.
Maybe.
I mean, I know Suicide Squad was like a mix of like David Ayer's like vision for the film, basically being fucked by the studio, and the studio wanting their version of the film, and then they ended up just kind of mishmashing these two together. But then you had Batman v Superman come out, and people fucking hated it, and they were just like, well, shit, we gotta change the dark gritty tone, and they tried to lighten it up, and they had to do a reshoot. I mean, by the time this film came out, it was fucking all over the place and garbage. But Will Smith did a good job. I felt he did a really good job in Suicide Squad.
Yeah.
And so maybe him working with David Ayer again will be good. And from what I can tell, I feel like Netflix is just like the type to be like, we'll fund this shit. Go do it.
Right. You do it your way because
they have faith in their directors and actors. So maybe David Ayer can do a really, really good job on this and work well with Will Smith, and maybe this will be good. You know, I'm wanting it to be good because it's nice to get something new and original for once.
It looks good.
Yeah. Like, I hope it's new and original. I don't know if it's based off anything, but
I've never seen anything like it, so
I don't know. We'll have to see.
Except for Men in Black, but that's not really the same thing.
Yeah, no. But I mean,
ironically, still Will Smith.
Yeah, I mean, if it's based off a comic book or a movie or something, I've just never heard of it. But I hope it's original. But even then, it's just nice to see something different. You know, you're going to see orcs and all that, and it's mostly just going to be in, like, high fantasy type films. But to see this as, like, a dark, gritty thing, and just, like, orcs are totally normal, and so are elves. They're just another thing that exists in this world. It's kind of nice. So, looking forward to that shit right there. We got a trailer for Ready Player One.
Yes, which increasingly surprises me every time I see a trailer. It's amazing.
I've read the book. You know, I've read the book, and I like it. I liked it a lot. It's a lot of fun. I love all the references, and I love the characters.
I haven't read it, though.
You should read it. It's so good. Or at least listen to the Audible version, because Will Wheaton narrates it, and he just makes it that much more fun.
Nice.
Especially in the part, because he is in the book at one point, and so it's just nice to hear him like reading off his stuff.
His own
but
words.
He's in there very briefly, but no. So I am skeptical because I'm afraid that they're going to try to shove too many references into this film, and they're not going to focus on making the film good. They're just going to be like, look at all the stuff that you recognize, and then it's going to be coming to that kind of a fest instead of let's just focus on making the story good.
Yeah, that's something that they have problems with going from book to movie. They try to cram everything into an hour and a half, and some books can do that. Others that make all these references, like Ready Player One, it's a challenge.
Yeah, as long as they're not like they're not shoving it down your throat and be like, look at these fucking references. They're just like, no, it's just like, hey, we're making a film. There happens to be other stuff. We're not going to really mention it. It's just going to kind of be there, and they're little Easter eggs for you to find whenever you take the film home, and you get to watch it frame by frame, you know?
Right, yeah.
And that'll be nice. But, you know, if they're just like, oh my God, like if every time like a character just be like, hey, look, it's Pac-Man. You guys know Pac-Man? Hey, look, it's Pac-Man. Oh, look, it's Mega Man. How cool is that? It's Mega Man. Oh, look, it's the Hulk. You know, just whatever they get in there that they throw in there, you know, just like, oh, it's the Iron, like
bashing you in the face with
right,
it. Yeah.
You know, it's just like, you know, I know in the book they kind of reference a lot of that stuff to be like his DeLorean that the main character rides around in.
Yeah.
Okay, they've got to talk about it because it's his vehicle. You know, later on, like you see the Iron Giant in the trailer, and there's a reason for that. And so then if they talk about it, that's fine. But you know, we don't want them just being like, hey, like being cheeky every time and just being like, hey, you know that thing right there? Yeah, you know that. It's from that one. It's not from this movie. It's from something else, and probably from your past. Be nostalgic. Like we don't need that shit. If we want that, we can just like go watch some fan made bullshit online. But you know,
people who who know that material will recognize it, and people who don't make the story itself interesting enough to keep them in the movie. And then when they buy the DVD, they'll watch the special features and may point out all these things.
That's what you should be aiming for. Is a movie that's good enough to stand on its own to where the general American audience will like it, but you key in enough to the fan base that they go, oh, I know this stuff. Oh, I know this stuff. Oh, I know this stuff. Like, that's what I feel like they did with Scott Pilgrim. You know, they could have made Scott Pilgrim just all about the comic and just, like, really, like, forced it down your throat of just, like, this is it. And then, you know, it would have been a bad movie. Except for people who really, really love Scott Pilgrim.
There's enough of the comic in there.
Yeah, I mean, Edgar Wright handled it well enough that it's just like, this is an enjoyable movie for anybody.
Right.
Especially people our generation because of video games. And then, but it also has enough in there for people fans of the comic to be like, oh, hey that, and hey that, and hey that.
And then when you talk to someone about the movie who's read the comics, like, obviously, if you watch the movie, like with me, I didn't know the comics existed.
Right.
So when I watched the movie, I had a whole lot of fun. I was talking to someone about the movie, and they're like, oh yeah, you should read the comics. I'm like, there are comics? And like, oh yeah, there's so much more information in the comics. The movie's great, but the comics are so much fun too.
Yeah, the movie did a really good job of boiling down the comics, you know. And so reading the comics afterwards, it's just kind of nice. It's like bonus content. It's not like, oh, yeah, I do.
I need to borrow them. I hadn't never read them, actually. I still want to.
I have all the original paperbacks, but I really, really want to buy the hardcover colored versions because I just want to see the whole thing in color.
Right.
But they're kind of a little expensive. I mean, enough to not be like, I'm gonna do it all at once. But maybe over time I'll collect them here and there. But yeah, so I'm skeptically optimistic about Ready Player One. I want it to be good. I really do, and I really hope Spielberg pulls an actual Spielberg and not some stuff.
Well, it's his namesake. I mean, I'm sure he'll pull Spielberg.
I mean, you know, because some of his films from the past like decade have not been great. So we'll see.
Something it caught my attention because I didn't expect it was the reboot of Rocko's Modern Life.
Yeah, I didn't see anything about this until you told me about it a few minutes ago, and I'm interested.
It was
very interested
because the trailer. I think it's like Rocco walking out of his house and he's suddenly in the present, like, because the show took place, of course, in the 90s. So he steps out of his house in the present. He's like, all this stuff has changed. Like, people have cell phones. He's like, what the hell's going on? And so it plays through. He has a conversation with Heifer and the turtle. I forget the turtle's name, but and then it goes into.
I mean, the cow's name was just Heifer, right?
Just Heifer, yeah.
What was the turtle's fucking name?
Myrtle. I don't know.
Myrtle the turtle.
That's too easy.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna look it up. But anyway.
But they go into go through the theme song, but it's the exact same thing, but they change it to modern times. So things that happen in there are happening now with modern objects instead of what was in the 90s.
Because it was, I mean, the theme song was like Rocko's Modern Life.
Yeah.
Yeah. But now it's Rocko's Modern Times, right?
Yeah. I think so. I don't know.
Maybe.
But anyway, I just thought it was kind of cool that like, I never even realized that when it was first airing that it was supposed to be like in today's time. You don't think about that when you're a kid. Like, all shows, unless it's specifically like in the Old West or some shit, it was just happening in modern times. I never really thought about it. So when they're bringing it back, I expected it just to be a continuation of the same exact story in the same exact time, but they're bringing it to this time, so it makes sense now, and it's kind of interesting.
It's Filbert.
Filbert.
And his dog's name is Spunky.
Yeah, I knew Spunky! Yeah.
I do. Is it a movie, or is it like a new series?
I thought it was a new series. I thought so. One part of the old series I really could never get out of my head. I don't know why it stuck in my head so much. Like, Rocco was having
Rocko's Modern Life TV movie.
Oh, it's a movie. I'm okay with that, I guess. I'll watch it.
I mean, I
feel like nostalgia is only going to go so far.
Yeah, that, and honestly, Rocko's Modern Life was made during a time whenever cartoons got away with a lot of shit.
Oh my god, there was so much in that. Oh.
Yeah, and so because like I always heard that, you know, but I hadn't watched it in a long time, so it was on Netflix, and I was like, I'm gonna watch this, and yeah, like the first 3 or 4 episodes, like they were kind of tame,
yeah, and
then you got to like I think like the 3rd or 4th episode was like the vacuum cleaner episode, and so it started getting a little like, okay, if you overthink it, and then after that, you just started noticing things.
Then you start being like, my parents are bad parents. When they watch this,
right?
What is wrong with them?
It's nuts how much they got away with shit. But like I don't know if it was that one or another one, but there were cartoons back then. Maybe it was Ren and Stimpy is what it was. Ren and Stimpy was bad, but they purposefully did shit that they knew would get cut by the censors, and so that way they could get away with the shit that wasn't that bad. But it was still pretty bad. So I can understand them not doing a new series because it would have to follow today's censor stuff, and I don't think it'd be as good. People wouldn't like it. You'd have to make it an adult.
Yeah, and Rocco was, like I said, Rocco was a very 90s thing, and it's made for kids, quotation marks for a lot of adult jokes. But they're just like today's kids aren't the same.
No,
they're not gonna dig Rocco like we did growing up, because it's not the style that's going on right now.
Right.
So like,
a TV movie is the right choice. Yeah.
So and this, like I said, nostalgia is only going to go so far, and that's about 3 episodes. So before we get, you're just like, okay, I've watched, I'm caught up on Rocco now. I don't need to watch anymore. So by making it a movie, you'll sit through the movie just to say to see.
So I think we're like approaching an hour, a little over.
Did you want to say anything else about? Did they release a Justice League trailer?
I don't even think I've seen it. I'm kind of, I don't know. I mean, I'll see the movie. I'm definitely gonna see it. A little cautious about it, but we'll see how it goes. I mean, Snyder, like I said, he put his. I think I've said this in the past few episodes, but he's put his dick on it, so it's probably gonna have something wrong with it. But hopefully, it looks like they've fixed it enough for it to be decent.
My only worry still with this movie is how they handle Aquaman, and every trailer I see, Jason Momoa grows on me a little more. So and with this new one, it was
just get down with the sexiness.
He got a chuckle from me with something he did. I think it was like a hair flip for some reason. just like he came crashing down into a building, and then
he smashed through,
and then he got up,
does the hair flip,
and then keeps walking, and it struck my funny bone. I'm like, okay,
yeah. I think this could work just enough, and I love their portrayal of the Flash. I think Ezra Miller's going to do a really good job. I love how like silly he is. Like I did see that trailer. Yeah. Because near the end of it, they're talking to Commissioner Gordon, and then they're like, so how many of there are you? And Batman's like, not enough. And then he like turns around and then comes back, and they're all gone except for the Flash.
Which is like to be the first one.
He's like, oh, they're all gone. And he's just like,
rude.
That's kind of rude, and just zips off. And so I thought that was really good because that really fits like the Flash's character.
I dig that. Yeah.
So I mean, I'm willing to suffer through an all right movie, and I really hope it like surprises me enough to just get that Flash movie. Oh, I want that Ezra Miller Flash movie so bad.
Yeah. So I'm down with the Flash. Wonder Woman's proven herself. I still have really high hopes for Aquaman. Like I said, he's growing on me.
I think it could work out.
I still like Batfleck. I still like him. Superman's a troublesome part because he still isn't totally, up there. And then I don't know anything about Cyborg.
Because he's going to come back in this film.
Of course he is.
He's going to get resurrected.
Of course he is.
But I really hope his resurrection changed his, like, oh, I'm Superman, I'm going to be pouty, like, type shit that he's been doing. And more just like, I've died and I know what's right. It's all about hope. And he becomes this more hopeful, just, like, upbeat character that's, because, like, he's supposed to be the opposite of Batman. He's supposed to be like, I'm all about hope and brightness and the future. And then Batman's just like, I'm just going to kick someone's ass. Like, he's not very, like...
That's a good Batman voice, by the way.
Thank you. Yeah. He's not very, like, he's a very down-to-earth, just, like, pessimistic type dude. And so they're supposed to balance each other out. That's why they're, quote-unquote, best friends, And they've always been close. Well, I mean, they've always been close in the comics. I mean, their relationship has kind of waxed and waned throughout the years. But, that's what I would like, is for them to kind of have this newer, brighter, just, like... Superman type deal. Not to be campy,
right?
But to be a lot brighter than he is. I mean, his fucking symbol supposedly means hope, but he seems like the least fucking hopeful Superman ever.
He's got to get out of the
moody like teen angst shit.
I understand it's supposed to. The DC universe is a grittier place, but
you can have a darker tone without your characters feeling emo.
That is the point. Yeah, that's the point I'm trying to make.
Right.
They really just got to take him out of the depression water and just not put him in the hope water, but just wring him out a little bit of the depression and put him,
put him on some Prozac
sit him on
or
a
some
floaty
shit.
in the hope water. Don't dip him in. Just sit him on a little floaty.
Yeah, so something. And then Cyborg, I don't know. I mean, I know he's gonna have his own solo film, but who knows what fucking way that's gonna go?
Right.
Because they could either royally screw it up or make it really, really cool. I really think his success highly depends on this film and how well they characterize him. And
especially,
I think
it's his first. Yeah,
I think what they'll have to do is they'll have to spend a lot of time on him, because if they spend no time on him and they're like, well, the Flash movie and the Aquaman movie are coming out kind of soon. Oh God, we gotta do stuff for them, and so they go and characterize them for a long time. Then all of a sudden you don't mess with Cyborg, and then you get his solo film and nobody gives a shit, you know. You need to go, okay, their movies are going to come out soon, we'll kind of characterize them to get people interested, but we'll really focus a little more on Cyborg, you know. And then Supes will be there, and Wonder Woman, and of course everyone loves Wonder Woman, and they've hinted at Green Lantern.
Really?
Because all the things always say unite the seven, right? Their posters have, like some of their past posters have said unite the seven, so you got Superman, Batman, Aquaman, Flash, Cyborg, Wonder Woman. Who's seven? Green Lantern.
Unless you're going to go more for Manhunter.
I
doubt it. That's
so.
A little bit of a stretch.
Yeah, that would be weird if all of a sudden it was just like, no. But also in that trailer, the second trailer, you hear, what's his name? Not Darkseid, but his brother, Wolf something, or I don't know. Anyway, the main villain, he says, like, there's no something and no lanterns. He mentions there's no lanterns.
I remember that.
And so you're just like,
Green Lantern's coming.
Like, and so some people have been speculating that Abin Sur, right? I think that's the guy who died and gave his ring to Hal Jordan. Abin Sur, they think will show up at some point near like the second to maybe third act of the film to help the Justice League. Steppenwolf, that's his name.
Okay.
They think that he'll help fend him off, but sacrifice himself in the process. And the end of the movie will reveal Hal Jordan getting the ring, right? Which I would be fine with, because they have got to try really hard, because we know that the Green Lantern Corps movie is happening.
Is it? I didn't know. I didn't know anything about that. That's amazing.
I'd heard about it, forgot about it, and then I saw it mentioned again. But yes, it is happening. So we have to have a Green Lantern, and so
a good one.
I hope. Oh God, I hope it works out. I don't know. How kind of cool would it be? Also, really funny and ironic if at the end of the film they reveal Hal Jordan to just be Ryan Reynolds again, but it has nothing to do with that other Green Lantern. Just like he just gets to play him again.
It's funny. Ryan Reynolds looks like a lot of generic, just white superheroes.
Yeah.
Like that's because I was sitting here thinking, I'm like, I really wish that would have been a good movie, because he makes a really good Hal Jordan. He's visibly, and I think he's a good actor. But the direction was horrible. So, I mean, they really messed it up for him, but then we wouldn't have had Deadpool, which he's also perfect for.
Right.
And that's less about his appearance, because, obviously he's burnt, but more about his attitude and the way he acts, which is his natural way he acts. He's always been a silly...
Yeah, so, I mean, I would be fine if it's another Hal Jordan, but honestly, I would be fine if it was like Jon Stewart, if we get a black Green Lantern.
Yeah, I feel that's what I'm trying to think. I feel like that's what they're probably going to do, because they've done Hal Jordan and it didn't work out. Yeah,
and I think it left a bad enough taste that they're just be like, we're not going to touch that with a 10-foot pole for like maybe another like 10 years or so. Yeah, they're just going to let it kind of disappear, and people kind of forget that it happened. Like Daredevil, people kind of forget that Daredevil happened until the Daredevil series was being teased for Netflix. People were like, oh yeah, there was that other film that was really bad. Oh, I'll give this a chance. Yeah, you did it like 2 years after that one. They're just gonna be like, that was a shitty ass movie. What makes you think I'm gonna watch this TV series? So I don't know. We'll see. We will see. I'm really excited about that. But I think we're probably going to go over quite a bit on this one. So let's just quickly talk about a couple other ones. So we got our new Kingsman trailer, or Kingsman 2. Yeah.
I actually didn't see the first one, but it looked like a hell of a time.
Oh,
so fun. And this trailer...
we got to watch that, because I'm telling you, I've watched it like 3 or 4 times. It is a fantastic
The trailer for this one...
super badass.
Made me hate myself for not watching the first one when I had a chance. Because it just looked... The trailer looked...
It's great. It is so great.
Awesome.
And I'm excited for the second one. I've been waiting on the second one forever. And then I guess that's the last thing I want to talk about, actually. So good, we just barely fit it in. But no, the Golden Circle looks really fun. I really enjoy this series. I hope that it's just as good as the first one. Very tongue-in-cheek and funny and badass.
Isn't it basically like James Bond meets Jackie Chan in sort of a way?
Yeah, I mean, it's basically like it's like a spy film, but pokes fun at itself, and it's also really, I mean, it's just it's funny. We've got to watch it.
We're gonna watch it.
So yeah, I think that's all the big things that I remember coming out of Comic Con. I mean, I wish I could have went. That would have been nice. Maybe one of these days we'll get big enough where we can say, we're press, let us to go. And then
live coverage.
Yeah. And also maybe somehow be able to afford the tickets to that place. But, you know, we'll kind of see how things go. So I think that'll be it for us this week, guys.
Yeah.
I think this is going to be we didn't really put up a timer, but we're kind of guessing based on the time on our phones that it's been a little over an hour, and so last week I know it was only like last week it was longer.
We've done one underneath an hour, like
50 minutes.
Something like 50 minutes.
So we promise, guys, we'll give you as much content as we can, but we can't just talk about everything. Otherwise, it'd all be in one episode and be like 18 hours long, and nobody would listen to it. Okay, so
you heard it first here. We're gonna have 18 episodes before we're finally done.
Yeah, yeah. So once we hit 18, I mean,
it's over. Because all we
start writing and shit, because we'll be out of ideas.
Yeah, exactly.
No, not really. We come up with the shit we're gonna talk about like an hour before we start talking about it. We're just like, what are we going to talk about? And be like, oh, hey, Comic-Con happened, and we watched that movie. Let's talk about that. Okay, cool.
Literally what we're doing.
It sounds like we're professionals, but I promise we are.
We just had like 5 minutes before we went on here. It's like, what are we going to talk about?
Yeah,
before we go, I want to let everyone know where all we're at now, because like over like the past week we've really done some hard work to get us out there. So depending on where you're at now, we're on YouTube. That's where we started. Now we're also on Podbean. That's where we're hosted.
Right.
We're also on iTunes, Stitcher. Is there one more? I don't think there's one more. No, it's 4. We're working on
Google Play Music, but it's saying that we don't have tags associated when we do, because iTunes needs tags as well, and they accepted us no problem. So we'll have to look into it a little more and see if we can get it figured out. Maybe we'll have to talk to like Podbean or Google and kind of get support from one or the other. But we plan to be on there as well, and so I mean, we would love to be on Spotify. Trust me, we would, but you had to be supported by a label, and Spotify's own independent labels are kind of expensive for us to really invest in.
They're on the cheaper side, but still out of our price range.
Because, I mean, we're only just starting. We don't want to sink a ton of money. We already had to sink money into Podbean, but that was because we wanted a good place to store everything. Yeah. So, but yeah, I mean, you can find us in all those places, and of course, we have a Facebook. Our RSS feed goes to Facebook as well. Yep. You can check us out on Twitter. I'm sure we'll tweet out every single show that gets posted. And we also have an Instagram you can check out. I mean, maybe we'll post the stuff on there. I mean, we won't just kind of random pictures and stuff, but we have plenty of avenues for you to find us, and you don't have any excuses. If there's some place that you really would like to see us, let us know. We get little ideas here and there of things we hear about, but you know,
but we don't want to waste our energy if no one's gonna bother with those platforms. So let us know where you are, and you want to see us. I mean, give us ideas. Something. Where do you listen to podcasts? Maybe you're going out of your way to listen to us on iTunes when you listen some other random app normally. That's fine.
We'll figure it out. Yeah. So, that'll be it for us this week. This has been Reggie.
And James.
You have a good week, guys.
All right, bye.